This tutorial will cover how to use a saved search as your criteria or filter in a report. Now, the first question you may be asking is, why would I want to use a saved search in a report? And the answer is because there are certain limitations within Exago, the reports module, that prevent users from writing certain types of reports or writing those reports easily. And that functionality is much easier to do inside of advanced search criteria. So for instance, in Exago, in reports, it is very difficult to near impossible to write a report that filters out based on contact type, which means show me everybody who is not a donor or show me everybody who is not a board member. That is a very difficult report to write in Exago because you can't filter out. You can only sort of filter in. In advanced search, this is very easy to write. You can filter out. And so you could set up that criteria as a saved search and then use that criteria inside the report to get the same effect inside the report that you want. Another example of a type of report that's very difficult to run or create is you can't filter on null values in a report. You can't say, show me every record where address line 1 is blank. You can do that in advanced search very easily. The third type of report that's very difficult to write is you can't filter on math inside of a report. So for instance, you can't say, show me everybody who's donated $500 total across multiple gifts during calendar year 2015. Because in Exago, it pulls all the data in, it filters it, and then it applies formulas afterwards. So it would pull all your data in and filter on donation amount prior to then adding up all the donations. And so you'd only be able to filter on single gifts of $500 or more, but you couldn't filter on a total gifts. However, in advanced search, you can do that, and you can do it very easily. So you can set up your criteria for things that you can't do in Exago as a saved search, and then drop that saved search into an enhanced report and use that report then to get the results that you want. It should be noted, and users should be aware, that using a saved search is only going to pull a contact list. You cannot drill down into the details of those filters. So for instance, if I was to write an advanced search that was pulling everybody who donated $500 total in calendar year 2015, I'd be able to see a list of those contacts, those donors, and I could see, for instance, their name and address and birth date and phone number and email. But I would not be able to see those specific donations that were adding up to that total because the saved search is just filtering the contact name. It's not filtering also the details when it pulls over to the report. So if I added donations to the report and donation amount and date, I would see all donations that those contacts who gave me more than $500 in 2015 had made for all time. This could still be helpful if you are, for instance, trying to pull a list of your major donors, everyone who's given you more than $500 in 2015, and you want to know more information about them, all their donations, all their events they've attended, their contact types, are they a member or not, then that is still going to be a very helpful report. And certainly, if you're trying to pull a mailing list or contact list report, then this is going to be super helpful. So, how do we go about doing this? Well, first, I want to take you into saved search and show you a little bit about those types of searches that we just said we can't really run in a report, and show you how you would do those inside of an advanced or saved search. So from the main menu, clicking on the search button and clicking on the advanced search link takes us into the advanced search criteria setup. Most of what you're going to be setting up will be here under the other criteria. And so for instance, we had said it's very difficult to filter out information in Exago, including contact types. But if I wanted to do that as an advanced search, I would say contact type, not in. And then, for instance, I'm going to take out my donors. And then now if I hit the search button and run this search, I will get a list of everybody who is not a donor. And here's my search results. As you can see under contact type, as I scroll down here, I'm going to have all my other contact types, but nobody has the little pile of money, which means that they're a donor. Now I'm going to go back to advanced search. If I wanted to do my second example, which is show me everybody whose address line 1 is blank, so to look for null values, address line 1 is empty, and then I'm going to search, and then this will show me everybody who doesn't have a street address. Now they may have a city, a state, or a zip, they may have a partial address, or they may have no address information at all. But again, as you can see going down through here, no addresses at all for any of these contacts. And we might encounter some that have part of an address. Doesn't look like any right here towards the top, but if I kept going through this list, I probably would encounter some. But as you can see, that was a very easy search to set up and run. And we could then drop this saved search into a report to pull a report with the same information. Returning to advanced search again. And our third example was filtering on math. So if I wanted to write that report that example I had given, which was everybody who donated more than $500 in 2015, I'm going to scroll down to my gift information, and I'm going to pick my gift date and say is between, and I'm going to say 1/1/2015 and 12/31/2015. And now I'm going to add an additional rule here, and I'm going to say gift amount is greater than $500, and I need to pick this summation box here, this grouping options, and I'm going to say sum. If I didn't pick this, if I had left this blank, then this would be show me all gifts of a single gift, one donation of $500 or more. By selecting sum here, I'm saying show me all gifts that are total of $500 or more. And because these two criteria are in the same rule group, they're under the same green header, then it's going to put these together. So totals of $500 that came in between January 1st, 2015 and 12/31/2015. And now I'm going to click search. And then this will give me my results of a list of contacts who meet that criteria. Now, a saved search is all well and good, and you could just do saved searches. You don't have to do reports. Usually the distinction of when you'd want to do a saved search versus a report is a saved search is when you're going to want to act on those criteria, those records, or those results. So I have 55 major donors from 2015. With these search results, I could now then use my Take Action menu to update these records in some way, send them an email, tag them, apply a contact type, update their communication preferences, export them to MailChimp as a segment, etc. I also would want to use advanced search if I want to go in and edit these records, because now I can act on these records from here, and I could just click and go into edit and then be able to make any changes to these records that I want. Now certainly I can export my search results as a CSV. I don't have to do a report, but the thing about exporting to CSV is you cannot control the output. You cannot control the columns that you see. It is a pre-formatted template that contains basic information. And on this screen you can't change the sort order. You can only do sort by first name or last name. So it's a little bit limited if you actually want to export this data and have it in a report that is formatted and there's particular information you want to see. For instance, as I said, if you wanted to see the details of their donation or giving history here, you can't do that from an advanced search. You'd need a report to be able to see that. And if you wanted to see what other things these contacts have done with you, what events they've come to, if they're volunteers or whatnot, you're going to need a report for that. And then certainly if you want to format this prettily, you want it to bold and add pictures and a header and footer, you need a report for that. So that is why you'd want to set up a saved search and then use that in your report. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click Update Search. I could have gone back to Search Advanced Search to get back into my Advanced Search here. And when I'm working in a saved search, if I give it a name, then it's going to save it when I run it. I'm going to close this. So if you hit update search and go back in, it automatically will give a name to this and save this search. But if I was going from scratch from here, and I was going to go to advanced search, if I type a name in this box, so I could say demo saved search, and then I put in my criteria, so it could be, contact type, not in, donor, and now if I was to hit search, this search would be saved. So the only thing you have to do to save a search is give it a name. Once you give it a name and hit search, it saves that search, and then you can retrieve that search over here on your saved search list on the right. Now I actually have a search set up called 2015 Year-End Thank You that has my major donors of 2015 criteria that I had saved previous to starting this demo. So this saved search has the criteria of donation total amount of $500 between January 1st, 2015 and December 31st, 2015. And this is important. Keep this in mind because we're going to need this when we get over to the report side. So here's a list of my saved searches, and I could use any single one of these in a report. Now keep in mind that if in future you wish to edit the criteria of a saved search or delete a saved search, you can go to your main menu, to configurations, and then from there you can edit or delete any of your saved searches. So under contact information, you're going to see saved searches. And if I click on this, here's a list of all my saved searches, and again I can edit or I could delete. If I click edit on this one, you're going to see this is that criteria I told you. Total amount $500 and the dates that came in, and I could make any changes I wanted to this criteria, add additional filters, take out filters, etc. Alright, so now let's go to Enhanced Reports, and I will show you how to actually use this saved search in a report as a filter. The steps are going to be the same whether you're editing an existing report or whether you're creating a new report. I'm going to show you from scratch, so we're going to go down here to the lower right and we're going to create a new standard report. If you're editing a report, you would simply just go to the Filters tab, and that's where you'd add the saved search. With all reports, you got to start by giving it a name. So I'm going to call this click the drop down next to Nonprofit Easy, and under that should be a folder with your organization's name, and you'll click on that to save the report in that folder. You can give your report a description if you'd like, who wrote it, when, why, what the criteria is, what the intent is, what it's to be used for. Then you're going to click Next. On your categories, you're going to include any data that you want to see on your final report. So if I want to see my contact name and address, I would need my contact table because that has that information. And I'm just going to click it and drag it over. Most importantly, what you need is this contact saved search table. Now if I scroll down here and click on my I button to see the fields in that table, you're going to notice that this table only has 3 fields: contact ID, household ID, and search name. It does not have any contact information or identifying information about the search results. To get that information, again, you need the contact table. But this table needs to be added to your report so that you can select that contact saved search name field into your filters. Now, if I also want to get that donation detail information, I'm going to click and drag over my donation table as well. So you could add any information you want to your report. Then when you're ready, click Next. Next, how do you want to sort your final output of data? In this case, I'm going to sort on contact name. Then I'm going to click Next. And now here on Filters is the critical step. What you want to add is the name of your saved search that has the criteria that you want to use for this report. So I'm going to pick my contact saved search table. I'm going to pick search name and drop it in, and then down here in the criteria I'm going to say equal to, and I'm going to select off the list of my saved searches. Now I want my major donors of 2015, those who gave more than $500, so I'm going to select this 2015 Year-End Thank You saved search, that's the name of that search, because that has the criteria that I want. Now It's very, very important to remember that you cannot add additional filters to a report that uses a saved search. You will get an error. If you want additional filters, you must go and edit your saved search and make the changes in that saved search. So if I also wanted to exclude people who are also board members, so I want to see everybody who gave more than $500 in 2015, excluding board members, I would need to go back to my saved search and make the change there to also include a criteria for contact type is not board member. I cannot add that here in the report. Once I drop in my saved search, I'm going to click Next. And now here on Layout, I can pick which fields I want to see on the final result. I'm going to pick my contact name, and then maybe I want to see their address. And again, this is most suited for getting lists of contact, and especially if you're trying to do like a mailing list report. So this would certainly be very natural to want to pull in, state, city, zip, etc., maybe phone number and email address. But I also am going to add the donation information because I want you to see what I was trying to explain earlier, which is that I'm going to see all donations these contacts have made. These contacts gave more than $500 in 2015, but I'm not going to see just their 2015 donations. I'm going to see all the donations that they have made because the filter is applying to the contacts and it's not applying to the data that's pulled into the report. Now I'm going to click Finish. The report's going to work to grab all of these fields and drop me into the Edit Layout screen where I can finalize the look and feel of my report. So I've got all my information here. I probably don't want anything additional, so I'm just going to go through now and I am going to run this report, and then you can see what the final results look like. And here we go. So I've got Anagramma Hewitt. I've got her address. I've got her donation amount and her donation date. Now she made one donation in 2015 of $6,000. So she meets my criteria. Arjun's Turkey Sandwiches made in 2015 made two donations, one of $5,000 and one of $0. This could be a cancel or voided transaction. So he meets the criteria, or they meet the criteria. Erin Sun in 2015 did 3 donations, 1,000 and 700, so she did 1,700, so she meets the criteria, etc. Now as you can see, there's a couple things I could do here to make this report easier to read. I could sort my donations by date so that it'll be easier to pick out the 2015 ones to verify that these are correct. And I could add a group header for contact names so that I only see each contact name once at the top and then see their donation details. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go in, I'm going to close the layout and go back into here, into my edit layout. I'm going to right click on donation amount. I'm going to format cells. To make sure this is a number, use my currency symbol and my commas to make that a little easier to read. I'm going to go back to my sorts and I'm going to add a sort for donation date to make those a little easier. So after contact name, I'm going to pick donation and then donation date, and now that will sort each donor's or each contact's donations. And then I'm also going to right click in this section column, anywhere in column A here, and I'm going to add a section and I'm going to add a group header, and I'm going to add a group header on contact name, and then this is the header row and I'm going to put contact name up there. And I don't really need to see address, city, state, zip over and over and over again, so I'm also going to put that in the header row. So anything you only want to see once goes into the group header row, and then that consolidates all your duplicates and rolls them up into one line. So now I've got my contact name, and maybe I'm holding down the Shift key, and I'm going to hit bold. And then below that, I'm going to see my donation amount and information. So now if I run this report, should be a little easier to read. And there we go. So now we've got our header row and we're seeing each person's name and address only once, and then below that the details of their donations. And we can see now our 2015s are, because these are in chronological order, it's a little easier. So Ben gave us $510. He meets the criteria. Bob in 2015 gave $600, etc. And so we can go through and pick out the donations a little bit, but we have additional information. And again, this is what I was saying, that the filter applies to the list of contact names, but on the report, it's going to pull in all data associated with those contacts. Once it filters for who gave $500 or more in 2015, anything you add to the report is going to pull in all of the data about that contact, not just the data that's specific to your filter or criteria in your saved search. There is a written step-by-step tutorial of how to accomplish all of the steps that I've covered in this video in our support library. You can click the support link from your CRM. And this will take you to our support library, and in the report section you will find the written tutorial on how to use an advanced search inside of a report. And if you have any questions, as always, you can send us a support ticket at support@fundly.com.